Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Afton and I'm Monty's Tarot Child. And today I have a wonderful pick a card here meant to help you recharge your energy. This reading is if you have been feeling a little bit drained, if you have been feeling a little bit energetically leveled out, or kind of just feeling as if you have low energy levels in general. I would love for you to just take a moment to pause and meditate on which one of these piles is the pile for you and holds the message that you are meant to hear. And I will see you in your reading. Hello, pile number 1. You chose this beautiful crystal along with the Venus and Aries card. And this is, again, a message to help you recharge your energy. I'm going to set the crystal right off to the side. And we're gonna just talk briefly about this first card that you have here. Venus in Aries with lust, okay? So there's something that is presently in your life that is requiring a lot of energy from you in the sense that you want it and you desire it very badly. So that means that you may be very concentrated on this one thing. That doesn't mean that you don't have other things going or brewing on the sideline, but there's something that has your focus and your attention. And it's a buildup of energy that you are constantly, I think, putting into it. That is, that may be the source of why you are feeling like you need your energy to be recharged. I say this because you have Aries energy, and within the depiction of the card, you can see in the background that there is a volcano erupting. So this means that there's something that you have been watching and waiting for. You have adjusted yourself and the conditions of yourself in order to continue to be present with this thing in your life that you are desiring and lusting after, quite literally. And lust does not have to be sensual. Lust can be, again, a desire or a hunger for something to manifest or to happen in your life. So it's something that you are strongly drawn to. You're trying to manifest it with attraction. You're trying to manifest it with positive energy, but also with a good amount of force and action with the Aries energy here. So this message is going to be about whatever situation fits that description in your life currently, and how we can help you to recharge your energy. One thing that I can see is continuing, maybe this is something that you're already doing, but if it is, and especially if it is, continuing to attract something with sweetness rather than force, continuing to almost seduce the energy to you instead of trying to manipulate it in a negative way, if that makes sense. I think that you want to receive something on a positive note, and the way that you are achieving this, the actions and the even maybe the manifestations that you are inciting are all with this kind of like positive energy surrounding it, and not, again, the negativity of manipulating energy or other people in order to get it. And when I say manipulating, manifesting is not considered a manipulation. I feel as if manifestation is a request. It is a conversation and an energetic exchange between you and the universe in order to receive what you're desiring. When it comes to manipulation, that takes ill intent, that takes like precise energy to say, you know, I'm going to get what I want despite who's affected or how it comes to me. So that's what I think of when I think of manipulation. And that is completely opposite of manifestation. So that is the energy that I see you drawing these things to you with. And it takes a lot of energy. I see that you aren't tired. You're not exhausted. You still have a little flame of passion burning slowly inside of you. And I think you're just kind of trying to stoke the fire, not to get an eruption, but to, again, manifest something into your life. So you have the card of teaching and learning, okay, with the number 57. And what I feel intuitively off this card is that there's something here about you sharing information, sharing what you learn. Oh, you have perseverance at the bottom of the deck, which is very fitting for this energy. But you're absorbing or consuming some kind of knowledge or information that you feel is useful to be shared. And you feel as if it is helpful because this is something that you possibly, not even possibly, because it says teaching and learning. This is something that you're interested and intrigued by. And so you are feeling this call and this pull to share. And that, again, there's a lot of energy leaving you and very little that I think that you are receiving back. Because yes, while you are absorbing knowledge and information, it's almost as if, especially with this Aries energy, it's like you have this impulse to then share, to then go and cite or recite or like just give, maybe in long and deep intellectual conversations with people who find it interesting with you as well. There's something here about that taking a lot of energy from you to not only sit and focus enough to concentrate and to absorb and take in that knowledge, but then to almost like exasperate it in sharing and to talk about something. I mean, honestly, till the sun comes up, as long as you have, that outlet to speak about something. I feel like some of you may have a YouTube, some of you may have some kind of platform through social media that you feel very encouraged to share through. And I'm getting a very direct and very specific example, but it could be, you are sharing this free knowledge or this free resource that takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of time from your day. And it's not something that you even do as a full-time career or something that you may receive financial benefit from. It's something that you're doing out of the kindness or the goodness of your heart and the curiosity of your soul. And again, it's something that you feel very passionate about. It's something that you could, like, someone could mention this subject or this conversation about whatever it is that you're so passionate about. They can mention it. Like, you hear someone walking by on the side of the street talking about it, and like you just get so excited and so involved, and you stop and you, of course, hopefully politely interrupt and say, I can't help but overhear that you were talking about this thing. And I just think this is the most fascinating thing in the whole wide world. Here, let me tell you about like what I know, what I've learned. What have you learned? What are you interested in? How did you find this subject? Because I feel like it's also something that is not necessarily, everyone doesn't know about it. So maybe you are someone who's deeply into astrology and you go into an environment where, that's not the typical conversation that's going on, and you overhear this conversation, like I say, and you get really into it and excited about being around other people who are conversing about the same things that you think about on a daily. That's just an example. You also have self-love here. Beautiful, with the number 61, which breaks down to a 7. Self-love. I think that you spending a healthy amount of time to yourself, or just dedicating some time to check in, to self-reflect, and to sit with self, is something that is helping you to recharge at this moment. I think even during these times of seclusion, I wouldn't say solitude or isolation, just a moment of seclusion, I think those are the times where you're also going to be gravitating towards picking up a book or doing something that is not too overly stimulating, but is also again, feeding that fire, which is why I think of books as being like a healthy medium of being stimulated, but also not necessarily electronically. I don't know if you like, audiobooks or things of that nature. Pile number one, that's a very specific message for someone of just saying, do what you feel called or feel like you're gravitating towards when you are in moments by yourself. So sometimes that means not touching anything, not, going to be stimulated, but sitting with your thoughts and seeing what comes up as well. I'm hearing that. At the bottom of the deck, you have health with the number 71, which breaks down to an 8. I think this is going to be a supporting interest for you at this time is your health, the health of your heart. I'm hearing the health of your mind, mental health. It's going to be a big focus for you. You're going to be inspired to focus on the self and to focus on what is going on in your body. Focus on what your body is trying to communicate to you. So if that means to slow down, then that's exactly what that means, is to slow down. But you have something that, again, it's like every time you think about it or, you hear about it, it almost draws you into action. And especially when you're trying to take a moment for yourself, it pulls you. It pulls at your heart. It says, I know you're curious about this, or I know you want to learn about this, or don't you want to tell, your friend about this thing that you found out? Like it's so intriguing to you that you can't put it down. And you want to absorb, and take it all in. Take as much of it in as you can. And I think it is, for some reason, I'm feeling as if it's taking a toll on you. But I'm going to see if that's actually, if that's coming through the cards as well. That may just be a message for one specific person. But this message is also here to tell you, like, your desires are not wrong. You are not wrong to have desires or to want things, but it also means to take things in moderation, and to not overwhelm yourself because you can. Just because you can take it all on doesn't mean that is what you need to do or that's what is meant for you to do. Sometimes, and I'm hearing the example, sometimes when you are learning, you are not teaching. And sometimes when you're teaching, you have taken a pause on taking information in or learning. And sometimes you don't have to do either. And sometimes it is okay to just exist. Okay, pile number 1. So let's see what else Spirit wants. Pile number 1 to hear or know about recharging your energy. Please, just one card. Pile number 1. I think there is also something here that you need to communicate with the throat chakra being highlighted within the root chakra. If you are craving a little bit more stability in self, not just in life, but in yourself. If you are looking to feel more stable, I do believe that this card is saying that there's something that you need to express either to yourself, or just out, to address to the universe as well. Something about like speaking love over yourself during this process. Something about speaking comfort over yourself in this process as well. When I say speaking comfort, like telling yourself you're exactly where you're meant to be, you're doing exactly what you're meant to do, soothing your nervous system with words of affirmation and letting yourself know that you are at the right place at the right time right now in your life. You have waxing gibbous with alignment, refinement, nurture, patience, and evolution. Okay. So right now you are in a state of alignment, and I felt that from the strong desire coming off of the Venus and Aries card, which also some of you may have Venus and Aries as a placement in your birth chart. But you are in a place of alignment. That's what I want to say. And it is taking a bit of refinement in order for you to pivot at just the right degree in just the right way in order for you to head directly to like charge forward in a confident manner, knowing like, okay, like I said I wanted this, but now I'm going to refine it a little bit to this and that, or to just this. And I'm going to be patient and nurture myself as I'm coming to these realizations so that when I move, I'm moving confidently. I'm not in doubt of myself or in doubt of the conclusions that I have made. You also have the waxing crescent, okay? So you have inspiration, creativity, growth, accomplishments, and learning at the bottom of the deck. There is something that you are achieving. Maybe it could be a certification in an area in your life. Maybe it's a simple accomplishment of, completing a book. And I say simple, but how many people start a book and actually finish? Like that's sometimes a difficult task, especially if you're being overstimulated. But I don't think that you're having any issues with that because you are so passionate about what it is that you want to learn about. It offers you growth. It inspires you creatively. There's something in your life that makes you feel accomplished when you take in more knowledge. It makes you feel like stable, that root chakra energy. So you're aligning to this. You're going for what it is that you say that you desire. You're not just desiring it. You're not just lusting after a life of whatever it is. You're saying, okay, if this is something I say that I want, what's my first step? Okay, and then if I were to take the first step, what does the second step look like? And where do I make that third step? And do I need to refine what I think in order to continue to get directly to where I need to be? But you're very inspired at this time, and that's what makes it so hard for you to slow down. It's because you are so inspired. You have a lot of inspiration and desire. And your spirit guides want you to know that it is important, not even okay. It is important and essential that you take your time and that you kind of try to draw back the energy. Even though we see a volcano erupting, it's like you can't stop a volcano from erupting. Like it's going to do naturally what it's going to do. But the frequency in which that happens for you, I think, is what is draining your battery, is draining your energy. And you have to, it's almost as if you're like having to schedule in time to either rest or to play. It's like you have to be intentional about your energy and the ways that you're using them so that you can use them to your fullest ability. So there's something here about like, take your time, let yourself go through the ebbs and flows of receiving and exchanging, and be present in it all. I think that's a gift that you are giving yourself for like through self-love, is to be more present. Because that is what you have said that you have wanted in your life. I think you are someone who loves so passionately about things like, how do I want to put this? You're not necessarily always the one to take pictures. You're not like when you're going to an event and it's something that you're excited about or it's important, like a concert or something that is something that is deeply interesting to you. You may not always be the first person to pull out your phone or pull out the camera because you want to continue to be in that present state. You want to experience the thing that you've been so eager to experience this whole time. And you may be the type of person who feels as if the phone gets in the way of that initial experience or introduction into that experience. That may be a very specific message for someone, but I see you as you are recharging your energy. You're trying to be more present. You're trying to be more patient. You're trying to be a little bit more methodical. You can't help your impulsive nature. You just can't. So whether you have Venus in Aries or not, you may have fire, just like a fire dominant chart. And it's hard for you to go against your own like true nature of, oh, I have an instinct, so now I'm going to act. And so you're learning. This is something that's also a part of the learning process for you. You're learning, okay, like, first of all, it's not helpful if I beat myself up for being impulsive or for taking action or for being Johnny on the spot. It's not helpful when I beat myself up. So I'm going to try to first initially stop doing that. And then I'm going to look at and observe what it would mean like for me to go slower, take this slower. Does it mean that I have to complete, X amount of chapters in a week, and at the end of the week I have to, write something up and present it in a formal manner? If it's not work related, how important is it for you to follow that type of a schedule or that type of a timeline? That's what I hear. I hear timeline, not schedule. There's something here about being flexible. Be flexible. Let it flow. Offer yourself some time to process information, process knowledge. Give yourself time. Way too many cards. I just need one. Of course, you have love and inner truth. Those are two beautiful energies, but we're going to keep shuffling. So I can get one card for pile number one, please, Spirit. One crystal message for pile number one in order to help them recharge their energy. Pile number one, please, Spirit. Pile number one. Oh, yeah. Wisdom, blue quartz. And I'm going to read that one in the bottom of the deck. It has Botswana agate with excellence. I'll read that one as well. So blue quartz connects you to your higher self, and the blue combines the throat chakra with the sixth chakra, communication and wisdom. The deep blue color indicates depth. It is often the quiet ones who possess deep knowledge. Blue quartz encourages you to share your insight. You have wisdom that can benefit others. Don't hesitate to communicate what you know. Affirmation, I speak as my higher self. My words uplift, empower, and inspire others. Johnny on the spot. Pile number one, we were talking about that throat chakra. We were talking about you just taking in so much knowledge, so much information, and sharing that. And this is absolutely what you are meant to be doing. You are very aligned in your actions. When we talk about refinement, we talk about, very specific things to you that only matter in regards to what you want your life to look like. So I can't tell you necessarily what that refinement would be, but regardless of what it is that you feel like could be tweaked or adjusted, you are in the exact area code that you need to be in regards to doing what it is that is meant to be done, that is meant to be a part of your purpose, which is to speak as your higher self and to uplift and empower and inspire other people with your words. Okay, so I think you are in a very specific space and stage in your life, pile number one. And what this specific space may look like is you taking some alone time. Maybe you are refining your language and how you speak about things, how you speak about the very thing that you love so much. Maybe you are learning new languages, new, new descriptive words and how you feel about this great love in your life. And it is actually showing you how much you love yourself, how much you love this life and the ability that you have to come and to absorb so much knowledge and ancient wisdom that you have stumbled across, been connected to cosmically. You are so inspired right now. So inspired right now. And I believe that this message is doing exactly as the title suggests, which is recharging you, re-inspiring you, reigniting you to find that love that you have in you, and to say, you know, I'm persevering, I'm continuing on, I'm moving even deeper into this because it makes me so passionate. Botswana agate at the bottom of the deck, it says, the fine lines in this crystal remind us that excellence often requires being meticulous, precise, and paying attention to detail. Botswana agate encourages you to set high standards and strive for excellence. Don't settle for mediocrity. It only takes a little extra push to make the ordinary extraordinary. And the affirmation says, I take pride in what I do. I will go the extra distance to reach my highest potential. I strive for excellence. Pile number 1. That is absolutely what you're doing. I love that this card talks about excellence and doesn't mention the word perfection, because honestly, there is no such thing. There's no such thing. I mean, there is only degrees and levels of completedness. And the excellence comes in when you determine the amount of dedication put into that completedness, the amount of refinement, the amount of touching up, the amount of, you know, of detail-oriented attention. But there is no such thing as perfect. We are not meant to be perfect. We are not meant to create things that are 100% perfect, that appease to 100% of the people that receive it. There's no way in the world that you are going to create something and everyone in the world loves it and has absolutely not a critique or complaint about it. That's not the way the world works. That's not how humans work. That we are not meant to be shaped and molded into perfection and to accept everything as perfect. So excellence is what you are striving for. Excellence. And that makes you feel so balanced. It makes you feel so healthy. It makes you feel like, okay, yes, I'm absolutely on the right track. Like, I feel like this message may be a large confirmation for you. You have the Queen of Pentacles with prosperous. She kind of flew out unprepared. So I'm going to keep shuffling. But that is exactly what you're striving for, is excellence. And it's through accomplishing just tiny, tiny things on a continuous elevation, if that makes sense. One of the cards dropped. Doing something on a continuous, on a continuous basis that brings you the results that you desire. And the results have less and less to do with other people's opinions of them and more to do with how you feel about the quality of work done. You have the Ten of Wands with stress here. Okay. And this is the source of your energy drain. Yes. This is the source of Ten of Wands could absolutely be depicted as burnout. Not everyone's going to be experiencing burnout, but it can be exhaustion, tiredness, the inability to focus, or the inability to calm down your nervous system to let you know, like, oh, I don't have to be in action right now. I don't have to be stressed about this right now. There's something that, if it wasn't for your deep love for it, it would feel like a lot of pressure on your shoulders and honestly in your mind, because you're constantly being stimulated by thinking, oh, I should be doing this. Oh, I should be doing that. Oh, I should be getting this prepared so that I can do this. I mean, honestly, some of you could be teachers, like in the actual educational system. But it doesn't have to be that black or white. It doesn't have to be that, systemic. It could just be like you feel like you have a lot of responsibilities, a lot of knowledge to disperse and express. You have a lot to let out, and you don't know where to start. You don't know. It's like there's so much. There's just so much, and it's stressful. And so the Ten of Wands talks about you placing that burden down, you placing that stress down in any way that you can. The refinement or the realignment, the refinement of your path right now really is suggesting that you take some things off of your plate. Only the unnecessarily, only the thing that you can give the bare minimum to, and it can be more of I'm hearing passive, but not necessarily passive, because you have the Two of Swords here. And it suggests that you're at a crossroad. So that means that you are needing to make a decision. And you have to decide, you have to make the choice. Like you are the one at the crossroad, and you have to decide left or right. And there is no wrong decision. There is no wrong turn, but you cannot stay in this place of stress and anxiety. Stress, anxiety, and basically like near eruption. Also, you have to make a choice. And the choice looks like you relieving yourself of some kind of stress. You have the Moon card in reverse, but with it being in reverse, we have deception. Okay. So there's something here that is, elusive to you. You're not seeing the full truth in some way about something. It is unclear to you, why a choice is necessary. You may be convincing yourself that you can take it all on, pile number one. And if you are here witnessing this message and feeling the energy that we described earlier of exhaustion, then you know that you are convincing yourself of the impossible, and that one way or another, the energy will stop you. You can make a choice and make the healthiest choice for yourself, but if you choose not to, the energy will stop you. And you don't want to deceive yourself in this manner. You don't want to continue to risk, again, your health, your sanity, just because you feel like you can do it all. That's not the point. Nine of Pentacles, prosperous. You are prosperous. You are wealthy. You have the energy of wealth surrounding you. What does the energy of wealth do surrounding me instead of not being in my pocket? Yes. Okay, I understand that. We want the money directly, honey. We want the funds in the account. But there is a lot, I think, that in your life is taken care of. There may be, again, some things where you would choose for the money to go over here and you'd rather choose for the money to go over there. But you are taken care of with this Nine of Pentacles here. You do have money, and it's money that you have actively manifested for yourself. Maybe through the teaching and learning, or whatever this desire and passion is. Maybe it has made you a little bit of money. It has done a little something for you. But the Nine of Pentacles is not the Ten of Pentacles. That's a lifelong journey of completion, of creating stability, creating streams of income, not only just for yourself, but, for your community, for the people around you. So the Nine of Pentacles says, you are sitting in a lovely garden right now of plants that seeds that you have planted, and they are flourishing. They are thriving in a specific manner. So the source of your stress may be because you are trying to maintain this Nine of Pentacles. You're trying to maintain this excellence within your financial realm. And that may be causing you a lot of stress, pile number one. There's something here about you needing to not only recognize your wealth, recognize the potential to grow and sustain your wealth, but also looking at what is draining you. And maybe it's not finances that is what is driving you to continue to keep going. But it is something, pile number one. And I think you know what it is. I think you have a good idea, even though the moon card is in reverse. So maybe you'd rather not, you don't want to mess up a good thing. But is it good with stress? Is it good when you're breaking down? Is it good when you feel stuck and stagnant? Even though you're making actions, you're doing things, you're trying, but it also may feel like you're traveling in a circle, revisiting old stomping grounds and wanting to reach something different. Okay, 10 of Pentacles. So what is your crossroad, pile number one? And why do you continue to get there and choose to go left? Why haven't you tried going right and seeing where that road takes you? Because it's taking you exactly where you want to be. It's like, what is the likelihood out of 78 cards in a deck, we talk about the 10 of Pentacles and it comes out right after the 9 of Pentacles? This is, again, telling you are in alignment. You are in alignment. The universe hears you. They hear exactly what you want. They hear exactly what you desire. They see you trying to nurture yourself, nurture, the portal from which your desires are coming through. Because you are a portal, pile number one. The desire would not be manifesting if you were not here to wish it into existence. So you have to take care of yourself and realize, I want these things so badly, but I have to also want what's best for myself. And I have to want to find a way that I can receive what I desire, but in a healthy state. Okay, so you're evolving. Your money is evolving, honey. Your spirit is evolving. And it's taking a lot of patience from you. I know that you're tired. I know that you're ready. You're anxious. You're waiting. But you don't need to wait for it to come into your life. It is a decision. It is a decision that you are being asked to consider. And once you consider, what is being asked of you, your spirit guides want you to know that you will start to see things a lot more clearly. It will start to make sense as to why this 10 of Wands is coming out for you. And maybe the 10 of Wands is not just a sporadic energy like, oh, we're here for today. It's like maybe you've been seeing the 10 of Wands quite a lot, or the 10 of Swords. Some kind of energy that continues to point to you exhaustion and tiredness. And you've been in a cycle of trying to figure it out. Like, what is it? What is it? I'm doing what I love. I'm doing everything that, fuels me. I'm doing anything that I want to do with the Venus and Aries energy here. And I'm sharing in that. I'm not even just keeping it to myself. So what's the issue? And the issue is you're doing too much, honey. Pile number one, your spirit guides want me to directly tell you that you're doing a lot. And a lot is not bad, but when it comes to your health and it comes to your body telling you, okay, I need a break. I need to slow down. I need to let this go because it's weighing heavy on me. It's like it is time for you to start listening to what is being communicated to you. You have death at the bottom of the deck, the death card with endings. So it's a huge ending for you. It's going to be clear. You're going to feel more vibrant. You're going to feel more healthy. You're going to feel more physically strong is also what I'm hearing. And you're going to feel rich, wealthy, taken care of when you start making decisions with you in mind and with your energy in mind and asking yourself, you know, how much energy do I have for this today? And am I being honest? And I was just talking about it on Instagram about how like it's absurd to think like, oh, I can do less energetically. I can do less forcing, trying to make things appear in my life and still receive a bountiful, abundant amount in return. What does that look like for you, pile number one? What responsibilities can you now like put to the side, offset to another, you know, person if it's work related? How can you ask, especially if it's work related, how can you ask for the salary that you are worth, what you're putting out versus what you're getting back in, especially if it is career or work related? All right. And so I have one final message for you, pile number one. But before I get to it, honestly, I just want to continue to talk about the Ten of Pentacles for a little bit because I see family, and under, you know, if it were in reverse, it would be debt. And so some of you have, you know, this threat of financial instability over your head that really is connected to your livelihood, that is connected to the livelihood of your family or the people who depend on you. And that is a lot of pressure. That is a lot of stress. But again, the universe is not giving you this message without letting you know that you have a choice in the matter. You have a say. And there may be an outlet, an approach, a path, a detour of a path for you that allows you to still do exactly what you're passionate about, what you love, what fuels you and drives you without draining you. You have to find it. You have to ask. You have to be aware that it's necessary. You have to take those actions. But there is a choice for you. And I don't want you to leave this message feeling hopeless or the opposite of energized, because that is what we're going for here. You have a choice. You have an option. You maybe even have many different options. And your spirit guides are telling you to choose one. But you have the energy of Shekinah or Shekinah. I'm not really sure, but I'm going to read this out of the book and see what other oracle messages we can get for you. Okay, it says, the spiritual worlds want to help you resolve your worldly concerns. It is safe for you to rely on spirit as a loving, protective, helpful, and practical presence, able to positively affect all areas of your life, including facilitating the resolution of physical problems. Do not limit your spirituality to concepts. Instead, apply your higher knowledge and principles, grow your wisdom, and live your path. Acknowledge your value as a person, as a soul. Treasure the gift of your path and let your spirituality integrate with all facets of your life. This message also says, Shekinah is a Hebrew word that translates as the dwelling place of the divine. Shekinah is the embodiment of the light, and I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. She is in us when we are living our spiritual path, applying our wisdom and principles so our actions, our courage, our choices awaken compassion in the world. We are the sacred change makers and healers of the collective. The divine electricity of spirit needs willing soul bulbs to shine forth in the world. To embrace Shekna is to embrace action, to commit to engage, to walk our talk, and to be the light we want to see in our world. The ideas that nurture and inspire your heart are important, but the actions that transform hesitation, fear, and doubt into boldness, trust, and confidence are essential to bring those ideas to life. You have it within you to live your light and to put all your problems and concerns into the capable hands of a deeper guiding wisdom. You are not giving away your power in doing so. You are actually empowering your sacred fulfillment. Okay, pile number 1. And I said this was the last message, but I'm going to do one more because I believe that there is another oracle card here for you with a message. I may not do this for the other groups, but I am going to do it for you. Pile number 1, please, Spirit. Okay. You have sovereignty with Cancer and Pisces energy. The ship sails, but the shore remains. Freedom from external control or influence, autonomy, and self-ownership. So you are absolutely owning the self. You are autonomously in your power, in your seat of power right now. And so, external things are always going to come and go, but you have the self. You are the shore and you continue to remain here. So even if, you feel like things are being taken away from you because you have to place this burden down, this 10 of Swords, remind yourself that what is being taken away from you is not your own essence. It is not yourself. You are meant to be buoyant and be free. And that means that you don't necessarily have a heavy load to carry around with you. The heavier you feel, that means the more disconnected from your path that you are. And you're meant to live in your path of being light and free. So this is your message, pile number 1. I hope that you enjoyed this message. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it and it would help out the channel a lot. And I would love to see you in another reading. Peace. Hello, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading. You chose the beautiful Tiger's Eye crystal with the Mars and Aries card, which is labeled with impulsiveness. Okay. So a message to recharge your energy. Slow down. Slow down. Okay. Your spirit guides want you to know before we get into anything else, that this is a symbol up here in the left corner of protection. You are protected and you do have luck on your side. Luck is such an interesting energy because people speak of it as if it is a myth. People speak of luck as if only certain or particular people get it, as if we do not all have access to the energy of luck. Luck comes to different people in different ways. It's not a one size fits all type of shoe. But I do believe that the intentional, inspirational actions that you take, pile number 2, it does breed luck in your life. You may have seen time and time again where you have done something on impulse and it has turned out to be of benefit to you. I don't know if it's necessarily like luck or if you would describe it as that, but it doesn't go horribly and completely wrong. And when things do go a bit disarray, I feel as if that is you acting on an impulse that's stronger than your typical impulse, without thought or without care. So when you do take a step of intentionality towards saying, I'm going to move in the direction that feels the best, but also doesn't do any harm to me or any other people, that is when you start to align yourself with the energy of luck, when you start to align yourself with opportunities of alignment. So I'm going to look into the oracle, and I'm going to look and see what messages your spirit guides want to give you today in order to recharge your energy. I don't feel as if your message is going to be completely different than everyone else's. Of course, pile number 1, it also started with Aries energy, but that was the planet of love and desire in Aries. This is the planet of action. And, Mars astrologically is at home in the sign of Aries. It's like that Mars rules Aries. So it's at home. It's in its comfort spot. And so you may have no problems with your energy per se, but maybe in the direction in which you are supposed to be putting this energy, because it almost feels as if you will rush to do something, put your energy in it, and then it stays there and it doesn't grow. And that may be a spot of frustration or a sore spot for you, because you want things to grow. You don't want, fling type of energy in regards to you want longevity. You want a race, not a sprint. And so I feel like you're trying to channel your energy in the way of like, I want this to work. You may get upset when things really don't work out because you had all the intentions were there, all the energy was there. So then what went wrong? And that may frustrate you greatly. So we're going to look and see. Oh, okay. So before we even start shuffling, I have to show this to you because I saw it twice. But you have a huge new beginning taking place in your life. I'm not sure when you are going to be watching this video, pile number 2, maybe your new beginning is happening during January, or maybe it's happening during Aries season. But there's something about the beginning, the start, a new beginning of something in your life. And maybe this is the energy that is, in your life right now and completely out of sight to you, because these are both bottom of the deck energy after I shuffled off camera. So there's a new beginning trying to reach you right now, and you are not aware of it. And so this may be tying into your reading. Let's see. For pile number 2, please, Spirit. Pile number 2. What is the message to help recharge their energy? Oh, yeah. So you have effort with the number 13, which breaks down to a 4. Okay, effort. We were talking about effort and you feeling a little frustrated. Let's see why effort is here. Please, Spirit. Why is effort here? All right. Change. Oh, yeah. So your cards are coming out pretty clear and concise. At the bottom of the deck, you have moderation. Okay. Take your time. Take your time, pile number 2. I know maybe you don't want to hear it, but this is a big change that is needing to be implicated in your life, because you just like I told pile number 1, you can't take it all on. You can't, you could, but to what detriment of the self and your health, Like, is it worth it if you end up losing regardless, when you could have just taken your time and allowed the energy to unfold naturally? Yeah, you are wanting to put in more effort. And while pile number 1's energy was it was so different. It was like they were lusting after knowledge and learning and sharing this wisdom. And I think that you are strongly desiring, like it's a need-based desire to make some kind of action and some kind of change in your life. Maybe you have been ignited to move, to change your place of living, because where you're living right now, it doesn't suit you, and it doesn't feel comfortable to you. Maybe your physical environment agitates you in some way, if you have roommates, or if you are just not physically in a place that you desire to be and it doesn't inspire you. Something about you just really wanting to move, wanting to make a change, and having to put a great amount of effort into it in order to do so. And when I say efforts, again, I think that what this Aries energy is here to show us through this reading is that, you know, you may have the impulse to do something sporadically, but it's harder for you to maintain that and build longevity in that energy, because you're always sprinting off to the next thing, it feels like. So when I see effort with the solar plexus chakra, I see you kind of sitting in that inspiration longer than you typically would in order to build something long lasting. And this may be a great change for you. Again, you're used to going here and there, doing as you please, and really dealing with the consequences of whatever that it looks like after. And I think you want more than just one-hit wonders. That's also what I'm hearing. You want more than just that. You want more than something just fleeting. If I could just describe to you what I'm seeing here, I see, you know, this person on a horse, and the horse is fully sprinting. It's fully running. And so it's almost as if, you know, you're not trying to go on a racetrack. You're trying to run around a field. You're trying to, have no boundaries to where you are able to explore. And maybe that's in like a physical, like literal sense, and you feel stifled by your physical surroundings. But even if it's not that, it's something about you needing to get this energy out consistently, but in a safe environment where you can explore the region and then still have a central space to come back to. Does that make sense? Pile number 2, okay, yeah, especially with the new beginnings being at the bottom of the deck twice, some of you may be considering moving, and maybe the moderation is here to let you know, save for that. Save for that kind of big change instead of trying to move on impulse. Okay, that's just maybe someone's very specific message. But you have this energy here where it's like you want to run circles. You want to run around and maybe, you know, pass the same bush, pass the same tree, but still have like ample enough space to feel like, oh, I'm really like stretching my legs in this environment and getting to see things differently each time. I hope this is making sense, pile number 2, but let's see what else we can get through the oracle for pile number 2, please, Spirit. Pile number 2. Okay, I'm gonna have to pull it out. Cancer energy, okay. And you have Lilith at the bottom of the deck. Very, very interesting. Some of you could have Lilith in Cancer. As Lilith is an asteroid, and it represents repressed desires. All right. And so Lilith is actually, like in mythology, it represents the dark feminine desire, and that is why it's typically described as repressed desires, because it is something that we view as negative, we view as like something that we should keep hidden or to ourselves, and we keep them repressed. You also have Cancer here, and the moon is connected to Cancer. So it's like you have these watery, feminine energies out here to support you with this impulsiveness with the Mars and Aries. So what do I feel with Cancer here? I think that you are craving a softer environment. I think that your intuition is craving to be around other intuitive beings. I think you want more vulnerability and emotionality in your life. You need it. Like you want to be surrounded by people who feel as deeply as you do, or feel on the same spectrum of intensity as you do. I think that in the past, you may have put a lot of effort into your relationships, and that has maybe that has been a source of energy draining to you. And you may not feel like you're drained right now, because I still don't feel, not with this Mars and Aries, like, you don't stay anywhere too long in order for something or someone to drain you completely or to your limit. You start to realize like, okay, it's time to move. And it may be very intuitive, that feeling, rather than you like analyzing and looking at exactly what it is that is making you agitated to move. But you don't stay anywhere too long where you don't want to be, or where it's not healthy for you to be any longer. And so the Cancer here is saying, like, I think you are following your heart. Cancer rules the Chariot and the tarot deck, and the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck. And I think this is absolutely about your movement. You have Mars, you have change, which consists of movement, and you have Cancer, which is a cardinal water sign. And it's all centered around you moving and taking a certain amount of effort in order to make changes in your life. Pile number 2, what are these changes? It's something that you have to have energy for. So that absolutely aligns with you moving physically. But there's something here that it's like you can't prepare yourself for it. You just have to be ready for a notice or a notification, something to tell you like, oh, the change is being initiated. And somehow you are needing to take a deep look at any desires that you have that are not being expressed, because they can also be a motivator behind the actions that you are taking. And I think your spirit guides just want you to know, like, those desires and those like inspirations of action matter also, because sometimes when we are repressing something so deeply, we are not being honest with ourselves or with our environment. And so we start to make changes that don't feel aligned, because we are not living honestly or moving with that honest thought in mind. Of course, take what resonates. And now I'm looking at the bottom of this deck before I start shuffling, and you have new cycle. So this is now, what, 5 decks? 1, 2, oh, I'm so dramatic. 3, I think. 3 decks that are talking about a new beginning, a new cycle, new change. So pile number 2, whether it's happening right now, or whenever, you have a lot of new energy coming into your life, and that can be very overstimulating. But I feel like you are taking it in well, because you are used to change. You are used to things happening on a moment's notice. Maybe it's someone inviting you on a trip. Maybe it's someone, that's a great example. But maybe it's just you deciding like, oh, I need this change in my life, and this is how I'm going to do it. This is how I'm going to do it. And it's all about your actions. Let's see. That's just so interesting. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to actually read this. Because for some reason I decided to read it. Crazy lace agate has patterns of lines and circles. Is there someone or something in your life that repeatedly drives you crazy? Do you have unhealthy patterns of behavior that keep you stuck? Crazy lace agate releases the repetitive loop. You remember we were talking about that? It frees you from frustration and gives you the courage and hope to start again. And the affirmation says, I am ready for a new cycle to begin. So I think that, yes, while things can be adventurous for you and like you don't mind traversing the same path because you are someone who likes to explore like this immediate realm around you, and it feels like a lot of space. You feel satisfied with it. You don't feel stifled. But there is someone or something in your life that you run across on this path continuously, because this is your realm of travel, literally or metaphorically, and it's driving you crazy. And it feels as if the repetitive loop is something that is going against your will rather than something that you're used to, because you keep having this agitator of an energy. And so there's something here about you starting again, new beginning, new cycle. So let's see. Oh, okay. Flew right out. Wow, this is so aligned. You have the blue beryl crystal with trust. And at the bottom of the deck, you have rhodonite with relationships. So I'm going to read both, of course, so that you get the full picture of what the oracle is trying to tell you. And this card says, blue beryl's calming water-like color reminds you to trust in the natural flow of things. If you're working too hard to make something happen and you are not seeing the results, blue beryl helps you surrender the control. It assures you that the universe has heard your request and is orchestrating the perfect outcome and divine timing. You just need to let go and trust. Affirmation, I trust that the universe can deliver what I want better than I can imagine. It's literally what we've been talking about. You putting in a lot of effort, perhaps in your relationships, but just in general, you having this impulse, this intuitive impulse too. You're very intuitive with the Cancer energy here, to do something. And again, sometimes you're like, I felt the urge, I felt the impulse. So why didn't it produce as I imagined it would? And it's like, sometimes the buildup is for something better, and it's better than you can imagine because the universe is orchestrating it. Pile number 2, right now you're in the middle of a situation in your life where you're needing to trust. You're being called to trust that the universe is delivering something for you. You're working too hard. You're working too hard to try to put your energy in to try to make an input, when the universe has already heard your request, and all you have needed to do was to utter that this is something that you need to change, and now it is changing. You are in a transmuting process, so it may feel familiar. It may feel like, oh, I'm still in this, but something about it may now feel different to you. And you're like, okay, but it's not enough change. So maybe there is a degree of separation between you and this person, or you and this thing, that's just not enough for you. And you're calling and you need more. And so more is being delivered to you. And this message is here to recharge your energy and letting you know, like, okay, sit back and relax. Like, sit back and let the universe continue the transmuting process. And don't be so zoomed in on it that you're watching for the change to happen. Just allow it. What does this mean? Or what could this look like? It could mean like, okay, maybe you aren't the one moving or changing places of residence. Maybe it is someone else that is moving or changing places of residence. And that makes that distance grow between the two of you, the distance that you said that you have needed. Maybe they get a new job. Maybe they get a new offer for an apartment. Maybe then they themselves feel this agitation of, oh, I need to physically move, and that opportunity opens up for them. Maybe you are, like I said, very content with where you are spaciously, and there is something or someone that is the irritant. And maybe that is what is being removed and not you yourself. But there is change happening. It's something you deeply care about. It's something that you're deeply invested in. Like, you really want this change to happen. And you would do anything to make this change happen. You would put in any amount of effort, any amount of energy in order to get some peace back in regards to like your home or the self. Okay. And at the bottom of the deck, you have rhodonite with relationship, and it says, rhodonite is a pink and black love stone. The black in rhodonite releases obstacles and blockages to attracting love. It clears negativity in existent relationships. Black is also the color of the root chakra, so it gets to the root, bringing emotional wounds and scars up to the surface to be transmuted. The color black is grounding, so it can stabilize ongoing relationships, okay? And the affirmation says, as I release old emotional wounds, it opens the door for me to embrace love to the fullest. So especially if you are repressing certain desires based off of previous relationships, there's a huge transmutation process happening. You are meant to love fully and experience love fully. And that cannot happen when you do not feel as if your whole self can be involved. You have a lot going on in your relationships, a lot of change. Maybe your friend group is changing while, your romantic life is stabilizing. Or maybe both your friendship and your romantic relationships are both in a transmutation process where you feel like you have a hard time trusting anyone, and you have a hard time letting go as well. So this is a message, I think, meant for you to hear so that you can actually recharge your faith in love, your hope in love, and that you can trust your heart, or get to a place where you trust your heart again. Because like I was saying, you've put energy in, you just can't fathom how that was, how anyone could think that energy that they gave to you was in a reciprocal manner. You may have been like dumbfounded by what people have tried to give you in return to the goodness that you tried to give them. And, I think I mentioned it in pile number 1, but I can't remember, where what you gave was necessary. It let you learn about yourself and learn how capable you are of giving what it is that you deserve to receive, so that you do not doubt it when you receive it. Do you ever see those people that get into relationships and they're like, I don't know how you love me. I don't know why you're with me. I don't know this, that, and the third. I think those people have always been, not always, but they have encountered people or situations that have made them doubt that, because they couldn't see what they were continuously giving in those situations. And so they then don't think that they are worthy of what they are receiving from another more healthy and more stable connection. I don't know if there's like a proper terminology for that. I don't know if it's called gaslighting. I'm not sure what you would, file that under as a category, but there are people out there that exist like this that just, they don't believe that they are actually deserving of true, healthy, and good love. Healthy, reciprocal. What I put out, I receive back, and sometimes even tenfold. And, you know, it's like an alchemical process where, you know, love can heal you. And this is I don't want to harp on love. I'm definitely not harping on romantic love, because that's not always what people are focusing on. But love, genuine human connection, can heal you and can heal, you know, you from past experiences. Again, that it won't be 100%. I'm never saying like healing is 100% and that you will wake up without hardship, without sadness, or without, you know, those memories of those things happening, but it can comfort you. Love and human connection can comfort you and give you what you need on a continuous basis. And I think that you will do anything for this, because you know what you give. Like at the deepest part of you and your deepest core, you know what you give. Okay. Okay, action oriented. So mess up the cards just a little bit. That's okay. You have the Knight of Swords with action oriented, and you have the Strength card with courage. Yeah, you're just not someone who sits by for anything. It's like definitely not for disrespect. I think that you are someone who's compassionate, and that energy, it may keep you in situations longer than you feel comfortable with, longer than you would have initially seen yourself dealing with. But this doesn't make you, you know, gullible. This doesn't make you anything less than what you are. It's just a part of your character. It just adds more to your story as to who you are. You're very compassionate when it comes to other people and, you know, giving them love or wanting to give them a chance, wanting them to be seen and heard. But when it comes to disrespect, when it comes to words that don't, you know, match the action, and that can sometimes look like disrespect, you are not afraid to move in the way that you need to move. Pile number 2. And I feel like this is a very specific message, because like I said, pile number 1's message, I knew it was going to be completely different. I think you're dealing with an energy that doesn't know who you are fully. Pile number 2. Because I see so much action, I see so much willingness to change in your energy, and I feel like someone is reading you wrong in your life. And they're thinking that because you are so empathic and because you are so deep and because you are so loving and kind and caring, you won't move, or you won't leave, or you won't take the actions that you need to, that they think that you won't take in order to do what's best for you. And I see you channeling in that courage and that strength to say, you know what? I know you didn't think that I could make this change in my life, but here I am, willing. I spoke to the universe. They made a way. They made it happen. And I doubted it for a minute. I doubted that my prayers would be heard or even answered. And I moved on faith instead and said, you know, I just have to believe. I just have to trust. I just have to do what I do best, which is show up, listen to my instincts, and do what I feel called to do. And with that intentionality, I'm getting what I need. Yeah. Two cards came out for you. I don't know if I'm going to keep them. I'm going to keep shuffling because they kind of just flipped over. And I don't want any passive energy. I want direct cards for pile number 2. Yeah. You have the Page of Swords. Lots of air energy. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius with inspiration. It came out kind of sideways. So I do believe that you are in a space where you are inspired, but it also feels a little scattered. You're looking to kind of, with the impulsiveness, you're looking to place your thoughts in a chronological order so that you're not getting overwhelmed, it feels like. Because you could take action on any number of things. Like you may have a to-do list of things that that need to be done on your part. And the other things you're meant to surrender to and let the universe do their part. But you have a list of things. And I think that you're inspired by it. It gives you a projection of like, these things need to happen before I can see any of the results that I'm even asking for. It's almost as if you're making space for change to come into your life. So either that's clearing out things, tying up things. You're inspired to really cross all of your T's and dot all of your I's and get something in order for change to take place. Let's see. What else, please, Spirit? A message to give them energy. Trial number 2. You have the 5 of Pentacles. Yeah. A struggle is present in your life. It could be, again, physically or financially. You could have a struggle, again, physically being comfortable where you are living, or financially feeling uncomfortable because you know that there are things that you would like to act on. And it is going to take courage for you to do it while also still not feeling fully resourced. It could be a number of things. It could be legal documentation that you are needing to have processed, and maybe that's a cost, and financially you don't have it. Or like we mentioned, you physically moving your location and you're feeling as if I'm not financially prepared for that. And yet you still haven't taken some of the other steps that, needs to be addressed first. It's like, especially if the 5 of Pentacles is here, and I believe this is a message of tough love for someone specifically out there, especially with the 5 of Pentacles here, and maybe some of you actually desiring to move and to relocate. The same finances that it takes to maintain a place of living where you are now, the very place that you may be uncomfortable in or dislike, is the same finances that it will take for you to move as well. Yes, moving is like 1,000 times more expensive than just staying where you are at, typically, depending on the place that you're looking to move. But there is something here, again, about moderation, taking, slow, methodical steps. And that looks like saving. That looks like storing things away. That looks like choosing to cook in the house versus go out and spend more money to receive less. Doing the smart things that are a little less impulsive, that allow you to look towards the future and to trust that when it's time for you to actually make that change, make that move, again, all things are crossed off and you have ensured that you are able to do so. But this is not a message just about saving money. It's knowing that You are taken care of. You're taken care of, and you are in a state of recovery. You are recovering from any financial hardship. And it's through moderating yourself. You have the Three of Pentacles also with teamwork. So work here is, or, you know, your professional life is highlighted through the Pentacles being here. You are a very hard worker. Some of you, this just it being connected to effort, the Five of Pentacles. You're a very hard worker, and you are not being paid fairly. You're not being compensated fairly for your work. And that can be quite a lot of people. You know, you are not in this boat alone because of the way that society is functioning right now. People are not being compensated. We have very little, you know, assurance in healthcare and any kind of financial care to just be able to not only survive this world, but to thrive in it. There's food inequity, there's health inequities, there's race inequities, there's a world of disparities that exists in this present day. No one, you know, no one really has it easy financially, even if it appears that they do. Pile number 2. So just be aware of that and speak on behalf of yourself. But even like if it's a team situation where the whole team feels as if like, oh, like we've put in a lot of work and a lot of effort and we are still not being compensated fairly, you may be looked at as a person of leadership to kind of communicate that to someone who is above in the corporation or a company or whatever it is that you are connected to, or just in general, speaking on behalf of those who feel your struggles, who can resonate with what it is that you struggle with. Okay. At the bottom of the deck, you have the Queen of Pentacles with prosperous. So you absolutely, you have resources available to you. Money is not, you know, growing from trees right now. Again, and you are not alone in this boat. People are feeling pinched and squeezed and tight financially, because that is the state that the world is in right now. But you still have this prosperous energy supporting you. And I think the more that you moderate, the more that you pay attention to your finances in and out, you will start to realize like, oh, you know, I have money. Like I'm not hurting, but I don't feel like I'm being valued, especially if it's a work situation. You know, changes will be opening up for you in that situation. But regardless, like, I think the more you observe, the more you start to realize like, oh, okay, this is what's thriving in my life. Or these are some of the bills that I can tie up and pay off or cancel the subscription. These are the relationships that make me feel safe. These are the relationships that make me trust my intuition. These are what make me feel unsafe. These are the relationships that make me feel drained energetically. You are a human being with all different kinds of things trying to draw at your attention and to pull at you. There are people trying to sell to you, trying to get your money. There are people who are trying to be in your life because you benefit them in one way or another. So many things are pulling at you. And I think this is a time that you're just cutting down on all that external energy to find, you know, what works best for you. What energy is working best for you in your life right now? Okay. I have one final oracle message for you that I will be reading this short passage out of the book, pile number 2. And that will be the conclusion of your reading. So let's see what oracle card wants to help you recharge your energy. Pile number 2, please, Spirit. Okay. So you have Bastet of 174 hertz. And at the bottom of the deck, you have Solve Paludi of with 741 hertz. Okay, so some of you could be into sound healing, or you may come across, some sound healing techniques or videos of something that helps you to ground yourself and to connect you to your abundance and to remind you that you are abundant. But I'm going to read this card out of the deck so that you can receive your message and let you know what Bastet wants you to know. Okay. Oh, wow. Of course, this is your message. Pile number 2. You've been moving so fast for so long that you're not realizing how wound up you've become. Gently unwind now to drop into a deeper, slower healing rhythm, and you will restore your body, mind, and soul. Things which seem too difficult right now shall soon seem very manageable and even pleasurable to accomplish. The Egyptian cat-headed goddess of dance, festivals, birth, healing, and sacred potions is known as Bastet. Her sacred cult was one of beauty, pleasure, and enjoyment. Worshipping her was not about ignoring the problems that are part of being alive. In fact, just as cats can see in the dark and are natural and skillful hunters, Bastet was often called upon for psychic protection from hidden negativities and to secure one's life force and enhance one's vitality. In her role as healer and creatrix of magical healing potions and sacred perfumes, she integrates healing with pleasure, relaxation, and a sensual connection to the physical world of nature, including beautiful natural oils and jewels made with precious and semi-precious stones. Bastet shows us how to slow down and smell the roses whilst applying their perfumed oil to our bodies and breathing in their high-frequency scent to protect and soothe the heart. She's the guardian of and guide into the sumptuous feminine paradise that brings healing, a willingness to connect to the earth and the body, and a capacity to experience sacred healing, playfulness, exuberance, and natural states of joy. If an issue has been troubling you, this oracle brings guidance that there is an approach available that can reduce suffering and increase your feelings of happiness. Open your heart to the divine feminine for guidance and inspiration. Bastet is a portent of joy and celebration. Believe in the happiness and healing your heart can create and attract. Okay, pile number 2, this is your message, your divine message meant to recharge your energy. If you enjoyed this reading, please give it a big thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it. And I would also love to see you in another video. Peace. Hello, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading. You chose the beautiful clear quartz cluster. Okay, this is your crystal. And you also chose the card Saturn and Gemini with concentration. And so this message is going to actually be surrounded around your concentration, the way and your ability to concentrate right now. There is the essence of having a lot of distractions around you, having a lot of energy trying to take your attention. And these are what someone would categorize as unnecessary distractions that are taking your energy right now. You have something that you're trying to focus on, something that you're trying to figure out with the Gemini energy here, and it has taken some time. But a large reason as to why it is progressing even more slowly than you would hope is because of the amount of distractions that are trying to get your attention right now. So this is going to be a message all about how to recharge your energy. I believe that this is a slow and steady process for you, something that you are going to have to be dedicated to in a very specific way. So you had 2 cards fly out immediately for you. And at the bottom of the deck, you have change. Wow, so beautiful. So you do have change supporting you right now. At this time, you are preparing for a change that, again, because it is at the bottom of the deck, it's a change that you don't see coming just yet, or you don't see the full forms of how this change is coming into your life. And it, again, is taking concentration from you in order to see like, oh, I'm doing something every day. I'm showing up to something every day. And this is breeding consistency within me, but it's also developing change in my life. So you have domestic harmony with the number 46 here. And you also have patience, yes, with the number 2. So when I think of domestic harmony, you know, of course, domestic is, you know, relational. It is the relational energy in your life. So this signifies that you have harmony within your relationships. But I also see a harmony between 2 opposing energies, or 2 just different energies coming together to harmonize and to create something alchemical. So we have already talked about patience. It's actually a loud and direct energy, because it's going to take some patience from you in order to achieve something, in order to figure out something and to find an answer to a problem that you are having right now. You may feel overstimulated, and it's harder for you to focus. And the entirety of this process is asking you to be patient, to allow things to come to you slowly, and in your like least distracted state. So maybe that's working in a more silent atmosphere, or more quiet atmosphere. Maybe it looks like researching things one at a time, especially if there's different components to what it is that you're trying to figure out. Researching things one at a time can help you to be less overwhelmed as well. But domestic harmony tells me that you are going to be figuring this out. Again, this is a message to recharge your energy, to give you hope, to encourage you, and to let you know that you are going to be harmonizing whatever difficulties or even minor inconveniences that may be going on for you right now. So let's see astrologically, what is the energy around you right now as you are trying to concentrate and figure something out. Pile number 3, please, Spirit. Pile number 3. Okay. You have retrograde. Yes. So currently, as I'm recording this, Venus is retrograde. And I can't recall if I'm sure there's other planets or asteroids that are also retrograde, and Mercury will be going retrograde soon, but we're talking about like current day retrograde planets. And you may also have natal planets in your birth chart that were retrograde at the time of your birth. At the bottom of the deck, you have waning crescent with surrender, restore, reflection, intuition, and stillness. And so I think that this also, has a lot to do with this retrograde energy of like surrendering, especially when things seem to not be working in our favor. Because retrograde, when planets go retrograde, that means that they are traveling, or they appear to be traveling from our point of view in the opposite direction from the other planets. It appears in the sky to be traveling back through the path that the planet has already progressed through, if that makes sense to all the non-astrology people out there. So retrograde energy is here to tell you, like, you're going to find harmony in the most unlikely situations, in the most unlikely circumstances in your life right now, especially when things seem to be going a little bit more haywire or unplanned, unpredictable to your desires. This is saying, like, surrender to that energy, and don't try to overcompensate for what you feel as if it's not going right. I feel like that's how you're going to find a lot of answers to your questions right now, is through surrender. And during this surrender, you are not meant to sit idle and, just wait for the energy to pass. There is a lot of reflection that you're being called to do as things are continuously changing around you right now. This is a very intuitive time for you, and your intuition will be growing the more still that you can become. So when we talk about intuition, what does that encompass? It encompasses you trusting your instincts, trusting your gut instincts, your intuition, and growing that within you actually helps you to become more patient, because you're starting to realize you're not on a specific time. Like, your intuition works with the energy. It's not like you clock in every day at work and that's how your intuition works. You can't just make it happen. You can't just make your intuition appear. You have to tap into it through stillness, through patience, through observation, and coming back consistently, giving you that stillness, being still in a consistent manner. And that doesn't mean, again, that you have to sit necessarily. Stillness is not sitting. Stillness is energetically rebalancing yourself, regaining stability in your energy. So stillness could be, yes, sitting, reading a book. It could be meditating. It could be, gaining a habit, or what's the word? A ritual of movement in some way as well. Stillness you don't have to take stillness as a literal description to the card. But it does mean that you have to be in a place of receiving. You have to be in a receptive state in order to gain that awareness. So the energy is really kind of working backwards for you right now. And coming from someone who has majority of my personal planets are retrograde, there is a way to work with the energy so that you don't feel as if you're always working against something for your entire life. There's a way to accept the natural movements of the energy in your life, whether it is forward or backwards or in an unplanned state. There's a way to work with that, and so that you can gain the most out of any situation in your life. So what would that look like? What is an example? Well, I was actually just making an Instagram post today for my other business that I have conjured up with my wife. It's Altered. It's called Altered, and the whole idea is to alter your state of being, to alter your reality through holistic approaches. And with this retrograde energy, it just really makes me think about the post that I created where it talks about, being adaptable to change and being adaptable to the change that is outside of our desired change that we are requesting in our life. So, you're asking for very specific things in your life, and maybe it manifests, but maybe it doesn't manifest in any kind of way that you have requested. And you kind of just have to utilize what comes out of that change. So for example, asking the universe, asking source, I need more money. I need to make more money because this is the currency that, this society thrives on. This is the way that I live a life that is comfortable. And, I need something tangible in order to make my physical environment or my physical state more comfortable. And this is, of course, just an example, but the ways in which you receive what you are asking for may not come in the exact way that you are envisioning it in your mind. That's because there's many things that the universe has to shift and move within a space that we can't even see with our own eyes. Like, energy has to be shifted in order for energy to be received. And that's outside of our control. That's something that we have to gain patience around. It's like trying to capture wind or air. It's almost impossible except for other tools that we have to use in order to make that happen, like a fan, for example. But it's just a lot of metaphors and a lot of metaphorical ways of just talking about how, like, you are in this state of retrograde where you're having to gain wisdom through things not working out as planned. And Saturn is a good example of how, we learn through not only hardship, but challenge. We feel the most accomplished when we are tested. It's like weightlifting also is an example of, like, your body gets used to lifting 20-pound weights, and then you feel like, oh, I've gotten to a place where this feels easy. This feels, natural. And you lift, you increase the weight count, and you move to 30, and that's another challenge. It's something that you, yes, are used to doing, but in a very different way. And so this is again another metaphor or example for how this energy is working in your life. You have Amazonite with harmony, a lot of harmony, domestic and otherwise, a lot of harmony happening for you right now. The crystal says, the blue-green color in Amazonite combines the throat and the heart chakras, which, yes, domestic harmony also has blue and green here, which is the throat and the heart chakra. Very aligned and not uncanny at all. The throat and heart chakras, promoting you to communicate from the heart and speak in a loving way. Amazonite brings balance, harmony, and the ability to see both sides of an issue. It keeps strife at bay by helping you to focus on kindness rather than proving your point. And the affirmation says, I am a calm and harmonious person. I speak words that are kind, supportive, and loving. Beautiful. We're going to get into it just in 1 second. Of course, you have more throat chakra activation at the bottom of the deck with blue lace agate. And this is connected to your communication. So blue lace agate is the crystal for communication and speaking your truth. If you have difficulty expressing yourself due to fear or self-doubt, blue lace agate can be of assistance. For public speakers, orators, and teachers, blue lace agate can help you get your work out to the masses and reach a bigger audience. Health-wise, it can be used for the treatment of thyroid conditions, laryngitis, strep throat, sore throat, and speech impediments. And the affirmation says, I always have the courage and the ability to express my authentic self. Especially if you're watching this during Mercury retrograde, or you have a natal Mercury retrograde in your birth chart. This is helping you to speak harmoniously, speak in a balanced, loving, and kind way, but speaking nonetheless and sharing your voice. You have a lot of energy of public speaking, saying things, giving wisdom with Saturn's energy here. And this is something that you have focused on for a large part of your life, is like how you want to express yourself, how you want to be understood, and how, you want to communicate with the world and people in the world. You have a lot of blue energy in your cards. And it feels like it's almost amplifying this sacral chakra here, letting you know, like, your words are giving you power. Finding your speech, finding your rhythm in speech is giving you power. It's like almost like feeling like the source of your creativity right now. Where in the past, like, your words got all mixed up, you weren't understood, or people didn't try very hard to understand what it is that you were saying. There was just miscommunication in some way. And so now you are trying to not even just trying, you're manifesting for yourself the ability to speak clearly and concisely and to be very confident in the things that you say, because you know that you are speaking from the heart. You have worked very hard to balance these two things in one. And so what you are feeling is coming across as very concise in what you are saying. The words match up to the feelings and people are resonating with it, or will be. You're reaching a bigger audience with this. And this is happening, again, kind of unexpectedly to you. It's a change that is not something that you can necessarily, like, you haven't been analyzing yourself to this degree, I don't believe. You haven't been looking out to see like, oh, like, how is my speech now? Or I hope I said the right thing. I think you've somewhat moved away from those patterns for the most of you. And you're now at a place where you're feeling comfortable with the way that you are showing up to other people. People see you as like a very patient. They see you as a great speaker. Like, you're a great communicator. Gemini is all about communication, and Saturn here stabilizes and it enhances that energy to say, like, you have worked hard. You have put in the work. It didn't just come to you. You have put in the work to be able to speak eloquently on many different things. It doesn't have to be just one subject. It doesn't have to be a subject at all, honestly. Speaking in general, communicating to people overall, is something that gives you great pleasure, but also other people get great pleasure from speaking with you and hearing your voice and being inspired by your words. Okay. Pile number 3. So this message it feels so specific, but it is here to energize you and to help you to continue on this path of introspection and looking at, how you want to move further down this path of communication. It's just so strongly about communication, with the 3rd house being here. Within the concentration card, there is also, and retrograde energy here, there is also this energy of reminding you, if you need the reminder, that you don't need to overcompensate for what it is that you discuss or that you are doing. Ooh, yes, 10 of Cups with bliss. Look how beautiful. You have found like absolute bliss in something. And with the 10 of Cups being such a beautiful card, it's actually a very favorable card within tarot. This is telling me, like, you, again, with Saturn's energy here, you have built a fortress of pure joy and bliss around you, within you, that lets you know, like, I've worked so hard for this. I just keep hearing this. I've worked so hard for this. I've worked so hard for this. And it brings me so much joy to see it manifest in such unexpected ways. But yes, before I get lost into the 10 of Cups, you don't have to overcompensate for what it is that you are excited about, what brings you joy. You don't have to make something seem bigger or overinflate something just because you're getting certain attention. That's, for some of you, the joy in your life that you feel with this existence of where you are right now is volumes enough. Like, you don't have to be in a room full of confident people and shout. Your joy, however silent, however, to yourself it is, you don't have to use it almost like as a weapon. You don't have to use your joy as a weapon to make sure that other people see you being happy. Enjoy your harmony, enjoy your bliss, enjoy your peace, and enjoy it with the people who truly show up or support you, love you genuinely, and only want your happiness for you. Like, that's all they want you to be, is happy. And when people want this for you, they don't like the really true, genuine love. It doesn't have a decided way on how that is supposed to show up in your life. It is really up to you. And the people who care most about you, love you the most, and is there to support you the deepest, they won't try to force what isn't for you. They will just purely support what it is that you are communicating to them is important to you. That's it. No questions asked. And when I say no questions asked, I'm like, don't be fooled. We are all open to critique. Like, we should all be open to critique and to say, I see you, like when someone says, I see you striving for your happiness, and I feel like, you could be doing this in a different way. That's not someone trying to knock your cup. They're not trying to knock your bliss. They're trying to give you a different perspective. And of course, we have to take everything with a grain of salt. We can't take things like so personally. But what I am saying is, like, you will know who is there for your joy. You will know who's there to uplift you emotionally, and not here as a distraction. You will know a very clear difference. It's in the energy that you sense from other people. But also, don't be afraid to take someone's critique if that is what's necessary. You have temperament, or temperance, not temperament. And it's in reverse. And this is talking about excess. So you're doing something in excess. And it doesn't have to be the literal sense of what this person is doing, which is drinking. But some of you could be drinking in excess. And I mean, honestly, maybe due to pure bliss, like being so happy or content or comfortable with the state in which your life is in may lead you to do things in excess, because you have a lot. You have bliss. You have everything that you could ask for emotionally. And mentally, you feel, better than you have in a minute, quite possibly. But temperance in reverse is saying, be careful with excess. Be careful with doing too much of anything. Is never a good thing. You had the Queen of Wands, and it came out kind of sideways. So we're in between, confidence and bordering on being pushy, because those are the two words that are depicted within the card. Especially with the retrograde energy. Again, we're saying we don't have to force anything. We don't have to prove anything. We just are. We're just being. We're just existing in a confident state. We're confidently existing in the harmony that exists in our life without having to show off or show up, and saying, this is how I'm doing it, right? Because my life looks like this. It's not confidence. Honestly, again, it is bordering belittling someone else and their life choices. I think, there is no person out here in this world who's going to tell you what the best path is to achieving a happy life. No one. It's not duplicated anywhere. Where someone has, two people have made the exact same choices to get the exact same results of happiness and peace. Happiness and peace doesn't look the same for everyone. So you may be boasting on something that someone else is not even interested in having in their own life. And that's completely fine. we are all allowed to have our differences. That is what makes us that's just what makes the world what it is. And so I think that you are growing in such confidence that like, I don't have to speak on anything. I don't have to speak on anything. I feel so confident with my life choices that I know I've made the right decisions, and there's nothing that I would change. There's nothing that I would do differently. And there's nothing that all the cards are messed up. But it's what it's telling me is that you have gotten to this place where your heart and your mind is unified, and you know that you're exactly where you're supposed to be, because the energy is speaking to you in that way. There's so much harmony. There's so much bliss and happiness. Again, you may feel drunk on it. You may feel like life is a whirlwind right now, and it's hard to keep up. You have the Strength card. It came out kind of sideways, but I ended up grabbing it in reverse. So we have insecurity here, which is honestly the complete opposite of confidence, and very interesting that these two came out for you. The Strength card is ruled by Leo. That is one of the fire signs, and Queen of Wands is also a fire-ruled tarot card in the deck. So this is telling me, like, while you have this fire, this passion, this pure excitement for life, there is a little bit of insecurity. And maybe the insecurity comes around like, is this really going to last forever? Am I going to be happy forever? Is my happiness going to somehow wash off of me, wash away? I think that having all of this bliss actually may cause a lot of anxiety for you, if I can be honest, pile number 3. Because it's almost like you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. And your spirit guides are, they really want you to know, like, this is a natural insecurity, first of all, but you do have the ability to find courage through it anyway. You may go through many different stages of these feelings of fear and doubt, but the 10 of Cups at the center of your reading and patience here is saying, revel in it anyway. If I can just speak personally, I know that it is hard to fall deeper into the good feelings of life sometimes, because again, we're afraid like, oh, this is all going to end. This is all going to leave me. And the deeper that I get, the more I have to lose. And this is not untrue. Nothing is permanent. We ourselves are impermanent. And life, just as much as it goes on, it does have to end as well. And this may be a darker turn to the reading, but it is the truth that I'm sensing through the cards, which is letting you know, like, yes, maybe some of your fears have accuracy to them. Maybe you're not the only one dealing with these fears as well. And speaking about them, because we have the communication here, may help you to transmute this insecurity again into a seat of power for yourself, and saying, because life is so unpredictable, because life is so short, I'm going to live it to my fullest. And I don't have to talk so boastful about what good I do have, because even that is not forever. I just want to exist in it and feel in it. and live in it and inspire others to find theirs too. You have the King of Pentacles with faithful here. And I do believe that this is a path that you are committed to. You're committed to growth. Yeah, blue-green, lots of blue greens in your card. You're committed to growth. You're committed to not only healing your heart chakra, but manifesting through your heart chakra as well. Manifesting through joy and gratitude, through bliss. Manifesting not only just for wants or physical attainment, but for feelings of security in general, overall. Before I forget, also, the Saturn and Gemini card did also briefly in the guidebook talk about strife or miscommunication between siblings, because the third house rules over siblings. And I see it keeps strife at bay here with the Amazonite. In regards to financial matters, in regards to emotional matters, communicate with love first. Communicate with patience first, the same patience that you know that it takes to deal with other human beings and other human interactions. Because you are in a place of power and authority in your life, physically and materially. So speak with that confidence. Do not speak through insecurity or fear of, any kind of lack. King of Pentacles is the only physical card that we have out. We have cups, we have wands, that's emotion and inspiration. But when it comes to the material plane, you are in a seat of power, and continue to be committed to that. Continue to be committed to the idea that all of your needs are taken care of, and your cup is actually flowing over. And you have more than enough to give and then still receive. I think that this is a mindset that you are trying to carry with you right now. And, this is a message to energize that and to help you to keep that going. Because again, we talked about Mercury retrograde. We talked about communication sometimes being askew, and that happens. Miscommunication does happen, but you don't have to further it or encourage it with, intentionally trying to not understand or intentionally trying not to be vulnerable. I do believe this is a vulnerable moment for you right now with the Ten of Cups here, because again, although it feels so good, everything feels so good, bliss, it also, there is like this sensitivity to things being almost too good. And you're working on trusting that good is just good. And there's something still here about the excess card, and I'm curious why I keep getting called to temperance. But at the bottom of the deck, you have justice with fairness. So balance, again, harmony, things really feeling stable, as long as you are, continuously checking in and making sure that you are not doing things in excess. Wow. There's this energy of like being honest with yourself when you do feel like things are getting out of control or becoming too much, because that is how excess continues and it grows. It's like you are not acknowledging that you're doing something excessively, so it continues, and the awareness helps it to not even just stop, but to moderate yourself is important when it comes to anything that you feel like you could overdo. Maybe it's overthinking, or maybe it is, I think overthinking is a good example, because you can do that in excess and actually convince yourself that you are not in a blissful state because you have thought about either all of the things that can go wrong or all of the things that are potentially going wrong and you don't have eyes on it with this retrograde energy. So really just speaking from a balanced state, making sure that your emotions are centered first before you share your thoughts, so that you can communicate clearly. And again, remove any distractions from the conversation, not bringing up old stuff that you still feel insecure about, but talking about like what is at hand in a balanced manner. Okay, so we have one final oracle for you that I'm going to read from the guidebook. It is Tantra of 639 Hertz. This is what the card looks like. And at the bottom of the deck, you have wow, I do not want to say this wrong. I really don't. Anaposis. That was probably incorrect, but that is the bottom of the deck energy. And so now I'm going to find in the book your card. Flip right to it. Perfect. Okay. And so let's read this message together. It says, be open to that which seems unfamiliar or different. That's that retrograde energy. You will experience a breakthrough as you embrace an unusual approach. You are on a soul path of accelerated spiritual growth, which is swifter, but not always easier. You do not have to contrive your own happiness, but you can dip into the bliss within your body to lighten your mental state and remind yourself everything is working out beautifully. What a very aligned message so far. It says Tantra is the conscious, creative intermingling of the sacred masculine and sacred feminine energies that dwell within every human heart. When one chooses to honor the interplay of these energies, these sacred energies, we become able to engage with the mysteries of our life and respond creatively. Tantra is the refusal to turn away from your life experiences, even the painful ones, because you recognize that with wisdom, spiritual growth can emerge from all things. Tantra is the willingness of your heart to thoroughly embrace that which might be difficult or different to what we expect. And through such open-minded, open-hearted engagement, discover a capacity to love and become wise. Tantra is the sacred relationship of the spirit and the body, which creates the soul, with all its precious gifts of healing, creativity, love, and higher consciousness. The Oracle of Tantra of 639 Hertz asks you to allow connection. Do not zone out and turn away from what is happening, even when it is painful. Be gentle with yourself, but be persistent on your path. If you cannot proceed along a certain course, find another way and do not abandon your dreams. Be receptive and yet also determined and dynamic. If you have been worrying about a situation, this oracle advises you are working your way through it. Whatever support you need shall be provided, and you are further along than you realize. The highest divine outcome is already being woven through your soul and into your experience. Things may not go to plan, but they are still going to work out. That is that retrograde energy, honey. And this is the conclusion of your reading. Hopefully a reading that energizes you and helps to encourage you along your path, pile number 3. If you enjoyed this reading, please give it a big thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it, and it helps out my channel a lot. And I would love to see you in another reading. Peace. Hello, Poplar. Welcome to your reading. You chose the beautiful smoky quartz point. And you also chose the card of Mercury and Gemini with excitement. And so, based on the energy that is already presenting itself, I'm trying to move the sticker back, and Stay Radical just wants to move completely away from the screen. Okay. But based on the energy, I feel like it speaks for itself. You are very, very excited about something. So this message on re-energizing you or helping you to gain more energy will actually come fairly easily because you are excited about something that is going to be communicated to you, or you are going to be communicating, and you're going to be very excited to speak on this subject or to be able to be in an environment that inspires new ideas. So I'm going to look into this energy. We're going to see what the Oracle wants you to know about this message. But there is something that you're very excited about. Some of you may take a short trip. You may be traveling somewhere that is not long distance, or maybe just a series of short trips where you're gaining new information, making new contacts, networking, and this is something that you may be very excited about right now. This may be a large part of what is re-energizing you at this time, is just knowing that you will be traveling soon in order to, convene with other people and to talk about the things that you love. So let's see, pile number 4, please, Spirit. What is the excitement? What message do we have here for them? Okay. 1 fell out on the floor. It is the card of self-love. How beautiful. Okay. And what else? What other energy do we have here for pile number 4, please, Spirit? What other energy do we have here? Yeah, the throat chakra being highlighted in self-love. There's something that you are grounding. Oh, of course. So love flipped over. I'm not going to keep it, but they wanted to emphasize that love is in your life right now. And this is a very exciting factor in your life right now. Music. Wow. Okay. What do you have going on? Pile number 4. At the bottom of the deck, we have environment with the master number 44. Okay. So let's take our time with the energy that has been presented to us. Okay. First of all, you have some kind of change happening with 32 breaking down to the number 5. I always like to look at a little bit of numerology to add more context to the message. Something is changing in your life, and I'm literally hearing music to your ears. Like, you are so excited for this change. Maybe it's a change of pace in your life. Maybe it's a change in the approach that you use to self-soothe yourself or to communicate to yourself in a heightened emotional state. I'm not sure why that came through. But we have music here. Music is a large part of how you are regulating your energy and your emotions right now. Because again, you are in a very excited state. So that means and Mercury and Gemini can lean into overstimulation because there's just so much that makes you curious and that excites you. A lot of you, this could involve finding or coming across new music or a new artist that I feel like, you could rock with for a long time. You are connected to music, and music it's a beautiful human occurrence that we have been able to, as a race, as a human race, we've been able to create instruments that make sound that is so harmonious and so beautiful, that it can alter the frequency in our bodies, the energy in our bodies. Music, I think, is such a beautiful connection to source, to God. And you can do it through all different means and manners, so many different instruments, so many people with musical talents, that I think that this is a part of the excitement. You really, so deeply connected to music that it excites you to be able to find new music, talk about new music, share new music, and really incorporate this energy into your life. And it gives you something. I mean, not to be dramatic, but it almost feels like it gives you something to wake up to every day. Like you may be the type of person to wake up to music, or to begin your day with music, or to end your day with music, or to just incorporate it throughout the day in general. That's how strong I feel like this music card is coming out here. But connected to self-love, I do think that you are doing something different in regards to like your rituals, that maybe your self-care, your beauty regimens. There's something here that you're so enthusiastic about, and it actually allows you to bring energy to the self, to check in with the self, and to be deeply devoted and committed to yourself. I think that's a beautiful thing. I think it's something, again, that you are so eager, so happy to talk about. Maybe for some of you, it's knowing more about you, learning more about yourself through astrology. Maybe some of you are connecting astrology to music, or like, looking at what musicians you favor, and then looking at their astrological placements and trying to create this language for how all things connect, especially artistically. That's just a very specific example for someone. But I see you really enthusiastically enjoying life right now, as you are receiving this message. And I feel like you are starting to, like you have already started to feel energized before clicking on this reading and finding this pile. Like the excitement is already here. Something has stimulated your curiosity. And now you receiving this message is helping you to connect some of the dots. I feel like this is what this message is for you, pile number 4. But there is something very beautiful in your life going on right now. And I'm going to use the Oracle and see how we can look further. Again, before I move on to that, we have environment at the bottom of the deck with all of this green heart chakra activation. So you have the heart chakra, the root chakra, the throat chakra, and the solar plexus chakra being highlighted right now, as like what's being activated. So I do, again, feel like there's a lot of stimulation for you within your body, even, where you're hearing something that feels so pleasant and so good that maybe it's like literally moving you to dance or to do interpretive dancing in some way or something like that. But your environment is growing. There's something here about it growing and healing. This could be your physical environment. This could be your personal, like your physical body. But something about the solidness or the things that feel solid around you are healthy and strong and vibrant and growing. And you're doing this again through healing the self, through giving the self what it needs, which is love and nourishment, attention and care. And this is like reawakening you in a very strong and impactful way. Let's see what we can look at through the astrology and see what is influencing you right now. Pile number 4, please, Spirit. I might have to pull the card out. So let's see. Yep. Palace Athene. Okay. And we have Venus, love, pleasure, values, and positions at the bottom of the deck. Venus rules over Taurus and Libra. And the Palace Athene is an asteroid within astrology, and it is connected to your inner wisdom. Okay. So there is, again, something that is igniting you, igniting your passion and your energy. And it's actually bringing you a lot of wisdom about yourself. Like, not only are you excited, not only are you excited to communicate and to gain more wisdom, but what it is that you are receiving right now, because you are in a receptive state. What it is that you are receiving is helping you to learn so much about yourself. And I do believe that it is not knowledge that you can just pick up and find in a book necessarily, because astrology, yes, it does do that, but there is something here about receiving knowledge from a source that is outside of you, that is not dependent upon another human being necessarily. You're getting this innate wisdom about yourself strictly from a spiritual source. And this is making you feel deeply connected, deeply connected to, I feel like, your spirit guides, your ancestors, your spiritual team in general. And it makes you feel like a very divine being, very connected. That's how I felt with the music energy here too. Again, some of you are finding yourself through lyricism, through music. Some of you may be writing music or just creating sounds that feels very healing for you, and it also helps you to understand more about yourself. Venus actually is also a planet that I don't know if it directly rules over music, but because it's about pleasure, music is a part of that. You gain pleasure through music. I do believe that Venus rules over music, though. It is connected to music because it is something that we all gain pleasure from and, love deeply. Like, people will make love with music on, music can be incorporated into anything. Music is healing, music is sensual, music is pleasurable, music is all things Venus. So it makes sense that she is supporting you at the bottom of the deck. But again, you are gaining so much wisdom about yourself right now. And I think it's really honestly hard for you to contain yourself in one way or another. You want to just be as expressive as you can about this thing because you love it so much. Whatever this thing is, it is deeply connected to, again, music and things that you love, but it goes beyond that, much deeper than that, to a very spiritual place with the Palace Athene here. So let's see. What else can I gain knowledge about in regards to this? I just feel like it's such a specific message that you already know what this is. Again, excitement is in the sense that you already see it coming. You're already announcing what it is that you're excited about. So this must mean that you know about it, right? Pile number 4, please, Spirit. Alrighty, yes, magic. Ooh, and personal power at the bottom of the deck. I will read both. But magic is connected to labradorite, the beautiful crystal of labradorite. And it says, has your life gotten dull, mundane, and repetitive? Labradorite is an earth-colored stone that promotes groundedness, but its iridescent sheen brings the mystical and magical into the physical plane. The light from the sheen helps reflect or deflect negativity. Labradorite is a bringer of light and helps raise consciousness. Affirmation: to add sparkle to my life, I sprinkle my day with mystical, magical, and light-filled moments. Yes, that's what I was feeling about the music. Music is anything but mundane. People can hear a song and actually remix it and make it into something completely different. That's how talented we are as a human race. So I feel like the magic here is you are doing many different things to sprinkle magic over your life. I think that you are now in a place where you're taking an active state in your life where everyday routines, they may have gotten to the place of mundane, or you're getting a little tired of doing the same things, but you then actively turn it around and say, okay, so how can I make this better? How can I change this? Maybe for some of you, it's, adding a shower speaker to your wish list, or your what's it called when you're moving? Your housewarming list. Maybe some of you are trying to, again, I think we were talking about something about your beauty routine changing. Maybe that was something that came up. But learning something, taking some kind of knowledge that you can utilize in order to make the mundane much more beautiful. You have Venus supporting you. Your day-to-day is supposed to be beautiful. It's supposed to be exciting, even if it's simple. It's supposed to be wondrous, even if it's for a short period of time. So again, taking new routes, either to work or to your studies, studying in a different atmosphere. Like if you work from home, studying at a library or somewhere that you can interact with different energy, something to make your life beautiful. I think you are realizing, like, I love this life so much. I love myself so much. And I deserve to achieve what I desire, which is spontaneity, which is changeability, which is networking with different and exciting people. Because, my life is not the only way of living. And I'm curious about other people and the way that they go about adding magic or, majesty into their life as well. Big energy, very big energy. But at the bottom of the deck, you have Tiger Eye with personal power. And it says Tiger Eye opens you to the energy and symbolic characteristics of a tiger, and empowers you to recognize and reinforce your strength, courage, and leadership ability. Tiger Eye gives you the confidence and determination to take bold action. It encourages independence and self-reliance and helps you to erase any issues of self-doubt you may have. Affirmation: I am courageous, I am powerful, I am confident. What a beautiful message to be connected to the Venus energy here. You are courageous, you are powerful, and you are confident, pile number 4. So especially if the changeability that I was talking about within the Mercury and Gemini entices you, take that first step to switch up the mundane, to make it, so that it is more magic. There's more magic in your life. Invite it into your environment. It doesn't have to necessarily be crystals and incense or whatever. Decorate your home in a way that feels aligned to your aesthetic, that makes you curious. Add books into your house that heightens the comfortability that you have and exists within your space. Do anything that draws you closer to your ideal aesthetic. I believe we all have an ideal aesthetic. Thank you to Venus. We all have a Venus placement, so we all have an aesthetic, and it's not replicated. Like, just because, again, we have a similar placement like Venus and Leo, that doesn't mean that all Venus and Leos are going to want to decorate their home in the same manner or even adorn their bodies in the same way. Do what you can. It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be, overburdening to your pockets or your wallet. Like, you can make little changes in your routine or in your day-to-day to bring this excitement and to encourage it and feed it. And this is also building your personal power. Like, you're not going to be looking to other people to initiate the adventure. You're not going to be relying on people to encourage you to make that bold choice to cut your hair or to get glasses or to do whatever it is that you want to do to join that course. Like, you have to encourage yourself. And this is, where you're going to be receiving a lot of power and enthusiasm in your ability to make these things happen for yourself. No one's going to spread the magic over your life. You have to do it. So immediately you had the Four of Pentacles flying out with security. It kind of came out sideways. So we have security, but then we have openness as well. I'm very interested in this energy here and what is going on for you in the tarot. So I'm going to ask your spirit guides why the Four of Pentacles is here for pile number 4. Why is the Four of Pentacles here? Why is the Four of Pentacles here? Okay. Eight of Cups, disappointment, drifting, being the reverse energy of this. For some of you, you're trying to initiate a change in your life, and it's going to take a bit of security on your part in order to make this change. As I was talking about in another pile, like the world runs on currency. It runs on money. And so certain changes cannot happen all at once or right away. But some of you you're facing the reality that there has been or is currently a disappointment, something that has disappointed you emotionally in your life. And there is a need for you to secure the ability for you to move out of this disappointment. So the direct example that I'm getting is some of you are disappointed in your current place of living, maybe your current environment, your current city or state. It's kind of boring. Like they don't have the kind of events that you want to go to. They don't have the kind of networking opportunities that you want to be a part of. It doesn't stimulate your curiosity, and you don't feel like you learn a lot from the environment that you're in. That is just for a specific few, I am sure. And so Spirit is saying, save your funds, secure your finances in order for you to move out of this disappointment, in order for you to make a change that is beneficial in your life. That is just for a specific few. Let's see what else, please, Spirit. Why are these cards here for them? Pile number 4. The 7 of Wands with perseverance. Yeah. So there is something, again, that you are needing to persevere over. And I'm sure there is an easier choice. There's an easier option that is presented in front of you alongside something that may feel a bit more challenging, because you're going to need to continuously give in order to get to where you need to be or where you want to be. That is what perseverance is just a continuance, like continuing to go the mile in order to reach the destination that you wish to achieve. And the more challenging aspect is the choice that you will receive the most self-love from. So persevering through something challenging or, again, disappointing emotionally is going to show you that you love yourself so much that you continuously showed up every day for whatever it is. And that's why we were talking about the mundane and like, yeah, you're showing up every day. And sometimes that gets a bit repetitive. But because you're making it so magically beautiful, because you are enchanting your life right now, it makes it more bearable to be persistent. And that is an act of self-love to say, like, I didn't give up. I didn't quit when it got boring. I didn't allow the easier option to win over. And now you're just so excited. You're just so excited. You're like, okay, so this is what persistence gets me. This is what it shows me that I can do if I have a plan and I just show up. I just show up. You're celebrating. You're celebrating what was once a disappointment. because you took yourself seriously and you told yourself, this is what I need. This is what I need to no longer feel unsatisfied or disappointed with the way and things are turning out for myself. This is what I need. And now you're celebrating those choices. Yeah, choices with the Two of Swords flying out for you. And you have a separate extra tarot card. I'm wondering if that is one for you. But yeah, at a crossroad where you're like, oh, I could totally go down this road. But it feels almost like a dead end, or it feels like I'm going to be right back where I started if I head in this direction. Six of Pentacles with generosity. Okay. So this is a separate energy, letting you know, like, things are balancing out for you. Again, what you're putting out is coming back to you energetically. Especially if some of you, the Six of Pentacles can sometimes identify a person who has, given, like, you've let someone borrow money. And some of you may be receiving that generosity back in a way, or you're receiving back what you gave out. And that is helpful for you in this storing of your security. Maybe some of you are trying to save up to, go out of an out of state, or go to an out of state event that really calls to you and draws to you. It doesn't have to necessarily be you traveling. It could also be a virtual experience that you're trying to save up for, and you generously receive the funds back that you have lent out. That allows you to participate. That's a very specific message for someone. But I do see you still being at the crossroad of decision, because it came out for you so abruptly with this Six of Pentacles. And it says, try to utilize the choices that make you feel the best. Try to make the choices that in the long term will offer you exactly what it is that you feel in your heart is what you desire. You have the Ten of Swords at the bottom of the deck with betrayal. This is the supporting energy. So this means that there is an energy of difficulty and challenge for you mentally, overthinking, overstimulation mentally, which we talked about with the Mercury and Gemini here, because we have taken two clear choices and it has multiplied into 8 other options as well. And that is overwhelming to you, it feels like. And there's something here about you really having to take a step back in order to make a clear choice, because you have to let some of the emotionality come in, and not in an anxious way. Because I feel like our anxiety starts with our thoughts. It starts with our train of thoughts and what we're thinking, and it turns into an emotional state. And sometimes it makes it hard for us to decipher, am I emotionally reacting to a thought that I had? Or am I just like feeling overwhelmed? It makes it harder for us to come to a decision on where our anxiety has stemmed from. So you're overwhelmed, but you're also excited. You're deeply in love with life, but you're also terribly terrified that you're going to be bored and that things are going to become too stagnant, too black and white. And so you're seeking. I think you're in this, I am seeking, searching. You know how for the music lovers out there, you're trying to connect your Bluetooth and you're seeking, your phone is seeking that device. And that's again, another metaphor for how I feel like you are in a state right now. Like you are, this is a perfect reading for you. You're seeking and searching for that energy to keep you going and to keep you persevering. You are over disappointments, leading you astray. You want to be more direct with your dreams, more channeled, more, focused almost, but not too focused where you feel stifled also, because Mercury and Gemini, they need the adaptability. They need to be free, but they also absolutely can concentrate on one thing at a time. It's possible. It just has to be diverse enough for you to feel like you can explore a subject like to its entirety and never get bored, because there's so many different factors to it. That's for someone else as well. But I see you working on your stability, like working to feel more stable and secure where you are at right now, while also knowing that change is necessary and that you're open to it and that it is open to you. There's that give and take of like, almost like, make sure that you are comfortable where you are, but don't be afraid to explore more. There is power in your adaptability. There's power in like you fluctuating in and out of things, and really experiencing life to the fullest, because you are not, again, stuck in one motion, stuck in one idea of yourself. I'm trying to make sure there's nothing else that I'm getting from the tarot. I think you're going to be very happy with the choices that you listen to yourself in making. Like, it's important that you do pay attention to how you are deciding on things, what state you are in emotionally. But I think you're going to be really proud, really excited, really happy, because you've done so much, of the work to get to this like place and to say, I am happy with my decisions. I am happy with the state where I am at physically, because I know that I have the choice to move. I have the choice to grow. I have the choice to change what it is that does not suit me any longer. Okay. Pile number 4. So I have one final oracle card that I'm going to pull for you. And then we're going to read that from the guidebook, the message, and that will be your reading. Okay. So you have, let's see, Ivory Wish Fulfilling Crow. Doesn't that sound like such a great card to receive? So we're going to read that out of the book. Allow me to flip to the page for your message. Okay. So this message says, you can have what you truly want. Such knowledge helps soften and release fear, grasping control, and doubt. Have confidence that the universe hears your prayers and is even now leading you into that which you seek. You can take sanctuary within your spiritual connection whenever you need stabilization and protection against the fluctuations of the external world. This sounds like such a direct message. No matter what is happening around you, there is a way through to the fulfillment of your potential. And this says, the rest of the message says, Busanda is the mysterious Hindu sage who assumes the form of a crow and lives atop the magical wish-fulfilling tree, thriving whether there be feast or famine in the world. As a highly evolved supernatural being, he has outlived the ending of numerous world ages. No calamity or cataclysm, I think I said that wrong, can shake the powerful divine tree or the creatures who live within its shelter. The sacred tree is a place of sanctuary and protection where no harm can befall any of its inhabitants. The wish-fulfilling tree is a spiritual symbol for the soul and the heart, and the divine Bud Vistas. I definitely think I said that wrong, but here's the word right here. Or enlightened sages who guide and protect humanity. It represents a high level of consciousness which is abundant and in harmony with the universe, and therefore blissful, free, and generous. This oracle reminds you that as you align with spirit, you are aligning with a powerful field of grace, which has protective and strengthening qualities. It is a spiritual tonic with effect in all dimensions and all realms of existence. Okay. And the last paragraph says, Bachanda or Basanda teaches that when the cosmic fire of transformation becomes too intense, we can focus upon the sacred waters. When the winds of change blow ferociously, we focus upon the mountain. When the waters become such that we fear becoming submerged, it is best to focus upon the movement of the air. He is describing the way of responsiveness and balance. You can recognize what is happening and adjust your sails to suit the winds rather than trying to change the ways of nature. This oracle guides you to trust that you will reach your destination even when there are forces beyond your control. You don't need to be more powerful than oppressive forces to overcome them. In connection with your heart temple of spirit, you will be empowered to proceed on your path with abundance, wisdom, and joy. Pile number 4. This is your reading. If you enjoyed it, please give it a big thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it, and it would really help the channel out a lot. And I would love to see you in another reading. Peace.